Everybody, how producer contracts work. It's been a full week of me talking about this stuff on Quickies and on my YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff like that. But I want to break it down in this video. This is the ultimate video to it. I probably will have to do more videos explaining this single important contract. So stick and stay right here. The problem is you might have already given someone your session files, I'm quite sure, in the studio without saying this language. Hey, let me send the paperwork over to you, or let my attorney contact you with the paperwork, or hey, I'll have my attorney contact you with the paperwork, or hey, I'll send you the session files when you send me the paperwork. It's all good, baby. Let's rock and roll. Let's make some money. You probably didn't say that. You gave away the session files, and now the masters are out of your control, and it's up for negotiation on any party's behalf since they already have it, or they may make some moves without you. That's our big problem right here. Now, let's break this down, and we'll work our way through it, and then we're going to explain these portions of the contract. Now, if you're one of these 4 people, you cannot survive without this. And if you don't know how to read any contract, then this is the one single contract you need to know how to read, which is the producer contract. If you're a manager, you need to have this in your possession. If you're an artist, you need to have it in your possession. If you're a producer, you need to have it in your possession. And if you're a record label, you gotta have this in your possession. There's no way you can operate without this thing. You need it. And either one of those people will speak from it from their perspective. They will negotiate from their perspective. Coming from the producer's perspective, and I just feel like just any contract should have it in it, and you all should know how to add this in. You're going to have your fee in there, and you're going to have your advance in there, and you're going to have the points in there. You got to have the publishing in there. You got to have the sound exchange LOD in there. And on top of that, you can't let the mechanical royalty slip and the writer's credit slip out of that thing, okay? Once you have all 7 of those points in there, we're good to go. We got a thorough producer contract. Of course, you're going to throw your insurance in there. And if you want more on producer contracts, I do have a course on my site that goes way more in depth in this video, but this is just the bare bones basic minimum. I don't get nitty gritty with it. If you structure your deal correctly in your favor, you can literally become a production powerhouse or a purchaser of production and secure all of your payments, legally binding that person to you based on your obligations in order to get paid. Now, you may be panicking if you just handed off your masters the other day, you know what I mean? And this leaves you feeling a little slow. We don't want to do that, but it's probably leaving you feeling a little slow because nobody explained this to you in the first place. That's okay. That's why this channel is here. But I'm telling you, if you do not get this right, this producer contract right, you cannot proceed forward with building a production business. This is your core document. This will stop people from trying to double cross you in the first place because they know you do business right. And then you won't want to do business with anybody who doesn't want to sign this contract anyway. So let's make this happen. Many people who booked a call with me have already been through this process, so they know, especially those who have already had the producer contract course on the site, they already know. And I'm gonna let you know just a little bit and give you a little bit more insight to this thing that I've been giving out all week. My name is Casey Graham, and this is the Music Money Makeover Show. All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. I hope you're still digging this new production style right here. So we're just going to hop right into the first thing we need to talk about, which is the fee on this thing. So this is the payment you get for making the beat. The cost of the product itself has nothing to do with the advance. We'll get there in a second. Your fee is non-recoupable, meaning you don't owe the record label back, but the artist does have to pay this back. So this fee right here is literally, you're not going to be credited for this on your royalties. We'll get into the points in the royalties in a second. But what I mean is you don't have to make this back. This is just your cost for producing the good, for producing the deliverable, for getting the product packaged up in a package and you're submitting it to the label. This is the cost for that. And this will not be recouped based on your points and royalties. Okay, so let's go forth. Points, okay? A percentage of the streams and sales of the master recording you produced, usually 3 to 5%. Many new guys leave this on the table, and this is the one thing that you actually want outside of your publishing. Reason why you want this outside of your publishing is because this is going to produce a lot of money. So if we take a look at what we said for the fee, if we don't include our producer fee in the advance, what this does is, as a producer, this allows us to reduce the amount that we actually advance ourselves on those points that I just said. The points come from the master recording, okay? And a lot of producers pack in their fee and their advance, and they stack it all together in one lump sum and say that this is the producer advance. And when you do that, what you do is you increase the amount that you actually have to pay back. We want to cut that in half because literally we had to make the product, and then we want to get an advance on our points. You get what I'm saying? And then those points, after you pay back that advance that you credited yourself for the projected amount of sales, all right, will go into your pocket. Let's go to the next thing right here. Advance, all right? This is an advance against your producer points. It's based on the projection of sales of the artist. Be careful not to advance too high or too low. You have to pay this one back. And that's what I just said, and that's what I mean. All right? I don't think I really need any further explanation on that. That is the producer advance. Let's go to the next thing. Writer's credit. What this means is you will get the writer's credit on the musical work copyright and on the writer's share of the performance royalty. This percentage is directly correlated with your publishing percentage at the PRO and at the Mechanical Royalty Collection Societies. Now, let's talk about this because people say, oh, I'm going to give you writer's credit. Let me show you where your writer's credit actually shows up. It shows up on the copyright of the musical work as an author. Doesn't mean that you own it, but as an author of the musical work, you get a writer's credit. And then when you log into your BMI account, you will get a small or half of the check, right? Because you would probably have sold all your publishing. If you did that, I hope you didn't. But if you did, you get the writer's credit on the writer's share of the performance royalties at the PRO. That's all you will be getting. If you did a deal like that, when someone said, oh man, yeah, we'll give you writer's credit, that's what that means. You really don't get much of anything. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to get into anything advanced. Book a call with me if you want to go further on that one. Now, mechanical royalties. These royalties are paid every time your song is reproduced on streaming services, social media sites, and in sheet music, to say the least. Okay, you need to receive these royalties without reduction. It's not 1996 anymore. I mean, if you have this in your contract, it just needs to state that you get paid on 100% of the scale and yada, yada, yada. I won't go in depth. That's in the producer contract course, and you can book a call with me if you want to go in depth on that. All right, so now our last thing here is the Sound Exchange LOD. Let me get to it. This LOD was put in place and pushed into law by Kanye West, but kind of before him. He just put the celebrity thing on it to allow producers to receive a portion of the artist's share of the performance royalty from Sound Exchange based on their producer royalty percentage or whatever is negotiated by the artist. Okay, so you get what I'm saying here? Now, everybody, we got the record label could have this in their hands, the artist could have this in their hands, the producer could have this in their hands, and the manager could have this in their hands. The record label is negotiating on behalf of the record label, artist on behalf of the artist, manager on behalf of them and the artist, and then producer on behalf of you. Okay, so now that you understand the positioning on this contract, all four of these people need to know how to at least read this contract right here. Okay, to all my new record labels, if you don't know how to read your recording contract, you need to at least know how you acquire masters. And this is the acquisition form for it. This is the main contract, the core contract for everything. Okay, so therefore, if you're going to beat the house on this issue right here, we're going to get more money from your royalties. We're going to get more power because you understand how the business is done. And we're going to get more respect because you handled your business properly. Remember, you got to understand the fee. You got to understand the advance. And the difference between the two, you got to understand the points. You got to understand the mechanical royalty structure, the writer's credit, the publishing on this thing right here, the Sound Exchange LOD. Okay? You got to understand those 7 things about this producer contract so you can become the acquisition king or the production powerhouse. Either way, all 4 of those people have to understand how this contract works. There's so many different variations. I mean, there's a good 20 or 30 different variations, but these 7 components right here are the main factors in the contract and how it works. Remember, if you make music, you should make money. Follow for more music business tips. Tell somebody about this video who needs it. Book a call on musicmoneymakeover.com. Music Money Makers, I will see you next time. Peace.